I know some of you are going to have some time this weekend to read a book, perhaps. Well, we have an author and friend of the show joining now who's got a suggestion for you. Her latest book is Disloyal Opposition: How the Never Trump Right Tried and Failed to Take Down the President. Julie Kelly, a senior contributor at American Greatness, joins us now. Julie, thanks so much.
Hey, Buck, thanks for having me on.
So this is obviously very timely because the election, everyone's realizing the election battle right now is non-traditional in many ways. It's the Democrats just trying to ruin the country as much as they can for the next few months. And then, Joe Biden's supposed to come in to clean up the mess. That's going to be the theory. But there are never Trump Republicans who are certainly a part of this. Tell us what you see. Maybe we'll work this backwards in a sense. What are the Never Trump Republicans up to right now? Tell me about this disloyal opposition these days.
Well, they are kind of regurgitating their playbook from 2016, which is to formulate these little nonprofit groups filled with disgruntled Republicans and alleged conservatives. So these are people like Bill Kristol, who is the one-time editor of the now defunct Weekly Standard, other writers from the Weekly Standard, National Review, failed political columnists, and even a few former Republican presidential candidates. So they are coming out now opposing Trump once again, trying to convince rank-and-file Republicans to vote against him, somehow convince us that Joe Biden is a better choice as the Democratic Party is completely melting down into this leftist mob. And so my book really details the origins of Never Trump, really dating back 5 years. And now we could see how they're trying to restart what they started 5 years ago.
What are the origins of Never Trump?
So this was a group of people who, from the beginning, did not want Donald Trump to win the Republican primary. Really, the nexus of the Never Trump movement started with the National Review issue against Trump that was published in January of 2016. And so those were a lot of columnists, a lot of one-time Bush administration officials. There were about almost 36 people who contributed to that issue to convince people not to vote for Trump. So it's really a collection now of people, kind of hangers-on, people who were, I would want to say, sore losers. They want to be proven right about Trump. They've tried everything that they can to take him down. They've cited and acted as useful idiots to the left, chapters. And so they're kind of doing that again. And so, but in the meantime, Buck, they've reversed themselves on every position that they once had, whether it was climate change, gun control, immigration, tax policy. You go down the list, the positions that they used to have, suddenly Donald Trump made them liberals. So that's why they're now rooting for Joe Biden to win and for Democrats to take over the Senate as well.
Julie, is there one Never Trumper that you think of as the leader of the movement? Is there one who's kind of the king of the idiots?
Well, I really do think it's Bill Kristol. And, he really started the movement, and so is how so many of these are Trump organizations. Bill Kristol has a few, are funded by a left-leaning tech billionaire, the founder of eBay, who's also a virulent Never Trumper, and has poured millions of dollars into Never Trump projects that are supposed to be conservative and Republicans, but are funded by leftists.
Julie Kelly, everybody. The book is Disloyal Opposition: How the Never Trump Right Tried and Failed to Take Down the President. Let's hope that's still true in November. Julie, thanks so much for joining. We appreciate it. Just want to say before we get to roll call, everybody, that I know right now it is a tough time for the country. We're not at war, but we are at war with a virus and internally with a Marxist insurgency in our midst, as we know. So things are a little bit tough. And right now it may feel like, I don't know, patriotism isn't really as fashionable as one might like. Waving an American flag in some places might get you a weird look. I'm here to just say, for all of us, this is the weekend you really got to wave those stars and stripes around. This is a weekend to remember that no matter what the left says, no matter what we face as a country, this is the greatest, freest, most prosperous country in the history of the world. All of us, no matter how ungrateful some of them are out there, all of us are lucky to be Americans. God bless those who came before us and built this amazing country that we all get to benefit from every single day. and it's worth fighting for. We will continue to do everything we can to maintain our liberties, our freedoms, and, ride or die, America's number one. And that means this weekend, enjoy it. Kick open the cooler, have a bunch of beers, get some fresh air, grill up those burgers, watch the fireworks wherever you can. Be careful if you're firing fireworks, but, just really celebrate America this weekend. Forget all the noise. Forget all the crybabies out there that say this isn't a great country or it's on stolen land or all this stuff. No, now's when you really got to double down and enjoy this place for what it is and remember how blessed we all are and celebrate our independence this weekend. And don't let anybody take that from you. The only way it can be taken from you is if you let people. Don't let anybody take it from you. Have a fantastic holiday weekend. You owe it to yourself. Everywhere across this country right now, we've been through a lot. You owe it to yourself. Be with loved ones, with friends, or even if you're just somebody who likes to, read a book by the lake or something and just chill in the shade. However you do it the way you want. Celebrate America this weekend. Celebrate our independence. With that, we have some voicemails to get to in roll call. Producer Mark, first up, let's see what we got.
Hey, Buck and Producer Mark. It's JJ from SoCal. Just wanted to say something about the Bubba Wallace situation. Yes, I am a NASCAR fan. My dad and I love to go to the races. About a month before the George Floyd thing, there was actually a racer, a guy named Kyle Larson. He was quickly placed on leave and then fired for calling his spotter the N-word. And now we've got the whole Bubba Wallace situation. Not going to lie, when my mom told me about the whole news thing, the first thought in my head was, oh, dear Lord, hope it isn't a Jussie Smollett thing. Sometimes it sucks to be right. Anyway, hope you guys are doing awesome. Love hearing your show. Bye.
Thanks so much for calling in, JJ, from California. Another place that is in the grips of the lockdown madness. Another place that is going through that right now. So thank you very much for calling in, and I hope everyone in Cali has an excellent Independence Day weekend. All right, next up.
Hi, this is Billy from Charleston, SC. Thank you, Buck, for what you're doing. Shields high, and I pray we can get the president back in office again for another 4 years, because I sure don't want America under Biden. He's mentally incompetent. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for the Black Rifle Coffee. I love the stuff. I'm spoiled. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Billy, for calling in. I'm so glad you like Black Rifle Coffee. Go to blackriflecoffee.com/buck to buy that. And, yeah, it's great to hear from down in Charleston. I love Charleston. It's got a special place in my heart. Team Buck Charleston in the house. Billy, have a great Independence Day weekend. Appreciate you calling in. And, yeah, I'm with you on hoping President Trump gets another 4 years. I can't imagine anyone who really thinks that it's going to be better for them. But, there are a lot of them. They're called Democrats. I guess I can't imagine. So we will see. Who's next up, Producer Mark?
Yeah, Buck, this is Mike from California. I agree 100% with your show today, man. I voted for Donald Trump to put the hammer down. These guys are a joke. He needs to have these people fired. He needs to kick the doors down and get the documents that everybody's hiding, okay? And these people need to go. This is ridiculous. The Democrats have ruined every single institution of our social society. It needs to stop now.
I'm with him. Yeah, I think that Trump really does need to get fired up and use the powers at his disposal to stop this little quasi revolution that's going on. And especially, the corporate complicity in this is just so disgusting. These companies that are, we just stand with the protesters. Crap. Ugh. I hate it. Well, there's so much of it out there. There's a way to say it, too. You could just, if you want to put out a statement that says, we support justice for all, and, we certainly want law enforcement to work as well as possible with all communities, including the African-American community, and we want police brutality to be punished. The whole country would be like, yeah, great, okay. But no, it's all this other stuff, too. It's the BLM movement, the protesters who want justice for all these different things, including the end of the nuclear family. It's it's madness. It's just sheer madness. All right, hit it. Next.
Hey, Producer Mark, it's CARRIE in Kentucky. Just wanted to call to thank you guys for what you do. Thanks for the reading list. And hey, Buck, thanks for keeping me safe and warm at night. Take it easy, guys. Shields high.
Well, thank you, Carrie, though I have a feeling you probably keep yourself safe and warm at night with the Second Amendment and you're out in Kentucky. I'm just going to go out on a limb here and guess you probably have probably got a long gun and a sidearm that you keep at home. I'm just guessing. I don't know. I could be wrong. But, yeah, man, no, we appreciate that, and thank you so much for calling in. And see, Producer Mark, you keep people safe and warm at night. Isn't that nice?
I think you do most of the keeping of safe and warm. I'm just kind of here.
Well, just saying. Producer Mark is very cuddly, so there's that.
I'm the vehicle of making people safe and warm. And yeah, I did listen to the show for a second last week, and I heard you telling guests that I'm a cuddly fella.
You heard that, huh?
I listened to one snippet of the show, and that's what I hear.
I didn't think you'd hear that. All right, yeah.
You're just openly telling people, yeah, my producer's a cuddly fella.
Mrs. Mark, says you're cuddly.
Sure, well, she's my wife.
Right.
I'm not cuddling with the guests.
Oh, I know that, but, okay. Fair enough. Next voicemail.
Hey, Suzanne, I'm in Alabama. I'm listening to the Friday podcast, and Buck asked, who's advising Trump? Well, I heard earlier on Wilcow that it's Van Jones, the communist, advising him on this newest knee-jerk pandering bill that he's putting out. So that tells me a lot, and things are looking bad. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for calling in from Alabama. And yes, indeed, I have heard the same thing. And you mentioned my buddy Wilcow. He's a great guy. Wilcow and I worked together for years at the Blaze. And, Andrews, he's a really nice guy. He is on air what he is off air. And I've always been very fond of him. He's a good dude. As for Van Jones, yeah, he has an in with this White House, and he was working with them in criminal justice reform. I'm sure going through Jared Kushner, who takes the lead on these issues. And I'm just going to say it from a law and order perspective and from a political perspective, trying to give the Democrats what they want at this point in time, give the mob what they want on criminal justice was the wrong idea. This is the wrong idea, a bad move. No two ways about it. So I think the administration has figured that out. I hope they have. All right. Next up.
Hey, Buck. Hey, Producer Mark. This is Susanna from Northeast Wisconsin, close to Green Bay. I just wanted to let you know that I was so excited to hear that you are coming to Wisconsin. Maybe not in body, but in voice. On our local WTAQ. You're going to be running with us. I'm so thrilled. I love you both. My husband got me introduced to you, and now it's like an addiction. I have to have my daily Buck dose. And my Producer Mark is just the froth on the top. Love you guys. Keep up the great work. Shields forever high.
Oh, what a nice call. Thank you so much from Green Bay. Producer Mark, you're like the froth on top of the latte.
That means I'm the best part.
There you go.
All right.
There you go.
I'll take it.
Yes, indeed. So, yeah, man, there you have it. No, that's true. I am coming to, we're frequently adding stations across the country, and the Buck Sexton Show will be on in Green Bay. So those of you up in the Wisconsin area and in and around Green Bay will be able to listen on radio, which will be great. And remember, if you're ever out of radio range, you can always download the podcast from the iHeartRadio app or on Spotify, as I was saying. And you can subscribe, too, and go to bucksexton.com. These are all very, very good things. Do we have one more, Mark, or do we run through the whole list?
We are done with messages for the day.
All right. Did you have some messages that you're with them in spirit, but they didn't quite make the cut?
Oh, there's one that I'm definitely with, but I can't talk about it on the air.
Oh, my gosh. Now I'm scared. You got to send me that one.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
Okay, you can send me that one offline. I'm kind of curious. But now why don't we hit the actual roll call intro and do the written roll call, which seems to still be a fan favorite.
It's time for roll call.
All right, we got it. Next up here, roll call time. Erica. If we need to protest future lockdowns, we need to do them in the way the media can't use photos from them against us. No guns, no posters. Show up in your uniforms, your hard hat and work boots, chef whites and aprons, smocks or T-shirts with your company logo, business suits or coveralls, anything that shows you dress for work, and do wear a mask. March on the sidewalk only around your city hall, county building, or state capitol. Stay in your family group with 6-foot spacing between groups. Designate a drop-off point for passengers and use the cars as another lawful parade around the same site. Don't block traffic, but do try to bring work vehicles with company logos. Let's align ourselves with the MLK standards for peaceful protests and show the left what that really means. Erica, I've got to say that's a pretty fantastic plan. Very well thought out, very insightful. Yeah, I like that. Like working people protesting and doing so in an orderly and respectful fashion. Not looting Macy's, not burning down a CVS or a Duane Reade or Walgreens or whatever the... Is Walgreens the biggest drugstore in the country? Biggest drugstore chain? I think it is, isn't it?
I think so, because it includes Duane Reade.
Oh, well then that makes sense. You know that Duane Reade is named for an original pharmacy on the corner of Duane and Reade Streets in Lower Manhattan in Tribeca.
Well, that explains why there's one on every block.
There you go. A lot of Duane Reades.
And it's actually CVS is bigger than Walgreens.
Oh, is it?
Quick Google.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, CVS. I don't know. I'm a look. I tend to like CVS personally. Not throwing any shade at Walgreens, but I tend to like CVS a little bit more. I've never been to this place called Wegmans, which I hear is a fantastic grocery store they have in Texas and these other places. Because I've been thinking,
I haven't either, but I've heard really good things.
Yeah, everybody loves it. I gotta up my grocery store game. I know Whole Foods is so expensive. I went to Whole Foods recently. And it was like a mortgage payment for a house I don't own. It was a house I was eating. It's gonna make me as big as a house if I don't stop. But
I don't go to Whole Foods because I don't want to spend an entire paycheck.
It's a good move. Working from home is driving up one of the worst kinds of cybercrime out there, home title theft. Look, we're doing it all from home these days. Meal deliveries, working, all kinds of stuff. You see, what the bad guys want to do is take your home's title and use it to take out loans against your home. The FBI is trying to warn people about this, but you have to protect your home yourself from cyber thieves. What the bad guys do is find your home's title online, forge your signature, and pretend you sold your home to them. Banks, insurance, and basic identity theft services don't protect you. Home Title Lock puts a virtual barrier around your home's title. Protect your home now. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you're already a victim. And use code BUCK for 30 free days of protection to help you get through this crisis. That's code BUCK at HometitleLock.com. Again, protect your home from cyber thieves at HometitleLock.com. All right, we got more roll call. Let's get to it. Michael, Buck, you feel we've already made the case on how to deal with COVID before. True. In fact, we've been dealing time and again with just about every aspect of life like that. It all revolves around Trump because it's always involving the myriad of Trump haters constantly weaponizing it time and again. I call it political whack-a-mole. Trump pops his head out and they try to whack it. Our job is to whack the whacker. Okay. Job is to whack the whacker, producer Mark.
Sounds like something I need a few drinks before I do.
Have you ever actually played original whack-a-mole where you have the mallet?
Oh my God, I thought that question was going somewhere different. Yes, I played whack-a-mole at like a carnival.
Yeah. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun, actually. Although I grew up watching Caddyshack movies. And so I had this soft spot for groundhogs, also known as a woodchuck in some parts of the country. And because there's the groundhog in Caddyshack that really steals the whole movie, who does like a little dance and is all cute and furry. It's a hand puppet, obviously. But then I remember seeing at my grandparents' place in the Hudson Valley in upstate New York, I remember seeing woodchuck, and they're really not very cute. It looks like a squirrel that was in quarantine for 6 months and just did nothing but eat ice cream and mac and cheese, which is something I can relate to.
So I think you're a woodchuck.
Pretty much. I feel like one these days. I'm going to start wearing a muumuu soon. I know everyone says, oh, just do push-ups and burpees. Burpees in your own living room? Come on. What am I, psycho? Burpees in the living room? My gosh. It'd probably be great for me.
A lot of people are doing like these dance videos on YouTube, like dance workouts. They seem interesting. Like it could be more fun than just doing some burpees.
Yeah, maybe I should get into that. I don't know. I got to move around more though. I mean, I used to just, I like to get in there, compound lifts, get it done, and at least I stayed the same size. I got a little stronger, but I stayed the same size. But now I can't lift anything except gluten-free muffins to my mouth. I mean, that's pretty much what I'm lifting these days. And I wanted to stop, but they won't open gyms. Gyms are like phase Z now. It was going to be phase 3, then phase 4. Now it's phase never.
Yeah, I'm afraid to put jeans on again for the first time, or like, God forbid, a suit.
Oh. Do you remember... do you remember when you and I talked about how we were going to both lose a whole bunch of weight in like, what was it, like December or
we were talking like early January probably.
Yeah. That didn't work out as planned. I was thinking this beach season I'd be in the best shape I've ever been in, and I got to tell you, every time they close a beach, I'm like, bad policy, but at least I don't have to show up at that one all white, pasty, and soft.
They won't have to call animal control for the beached whale.
Yeah, so but it's all right. I'll turn it all around. I can do it in 90 days. I was going to say 60. That's pretty fast. I could shed the quarantine 15. It's going to take me 90 days, though. So I'm on it. I know some people are like, oh, I'm in better shape now than ever, Buck. Whatever. You're one of those.
Some people have a better mindset, but in this kind of quarantine mode, I don't have the mindset of eating right. Otherwise, I'm going to go crazy.
I mean, what fun is there in what fun do we have every day? That's what I always say to people. I'm like, oh, okay. I do 5 hours of radio a day. I'm doing writing and clips and research and stuff all the time. And then I'm just going to, have some, have a field green salad before I go to sleep, It's just not a good move. Not a good move. All right. We got more roll call here. Ethan. Oh, by the way, this weekend, make sure you guys all eat a lot of red meat and enjoy it. Darn it. Ethan, I'm glad, there was a movement to really push us all to, you'll be so much healthier if you go plant-based or whatever. And there was that documentary on Netflix, propaganda, total nonsense. Did you see that one? The Game Changers documentary, total propaganda. It all ties into the climate change garbage too. Oh, cows put too much fart in the air with the methane, so we need to stop eating cows and all eat plant-based, and we'll all be stronger and healthier. I know the 5 people who are like Mr. Olympian or whatever who listen to this show who are plant-based are going to send me photos of their abs, be like, all I eat are lentils and cabbage. Maybe you're just like a genetic anomaly. I don't know what to tell you.
Imagine what those farts smell like.
Fair point. Ethan. Buck, I think you nailed it on Batman Begins being the best of that trilogy. Great story, great acting, and dialogue with great flow. I felt The Dark Knight was second, and I wasn't that impressed with the third one. Well, Ethan, you and I line up on this one. Producer Mark is wrong, which is not the first time. So there we go. Although I will, in Producer Mark's defense, say that Heath Ledger's performance in the Dark Knight movie is the best of any performance in any of the movies.
Of course. I mean, it sucks that he couldn't finish the movie.
Well, didn't he finish it or no? He didn't die during.
No, they had to shoot a couple of scenes without him. I think it was mostly scenes that wouldn't have involved his voice, or they just they used prior takes of him and overlaid the voice on the guy that had to replace him.
I was unaware of that.
Yeah, he died right at the end of filming.
Yeah, he just went to such a dark place that there was no coming back for him, I guess. I don't know. It was kind of obviously very sad, but it was an amazing performance. That all said, who would have thought that years later you would have Joaquin Phoenix in the Joker movie also give a very good Joker performance? You knew the two were going to be compared, but they're both excellent. It's Coke and Pepsi. You can like them both. Do you have a preference, by the way?
For Coke and Pepsi?
Between the two.
Pepsi.
You're a Pepsi. Oh, you like the Mets. Pepsi. I see a pattern here. I see what's going on.
What, I have to be against the norm?
You like the underdog. I get it. I see something.
Like the
here.
taste of Pepsi better. I don't know.
I don't
My
even.
wife thinks I'm nuts.
I don't really drink soda, although Snow Princess has gotten me drinking ginger ale recently, and ginger ale, I will say, is delicious.
I can't drink ginger ale just for fun. Like if I have a stomach ache, I'll drink some ginger ale, but I can't just drink it.
Whew, liquid candy, my man. Do you have any movies on the schedule for that? You know, the movies that I always yell at you haven't seen. Have you made a list so you can watch one or two with Mrs. Mark this weekend?
A Joker's on it.
Okay.
I'm definitely gonna get the free
Legit.
trial of HBO Max and watch it.
I will. We will allow it. That's fair. That's a good one.
There's an interesting documentary about Queen and the restart with what's his name, the guy from American Idol who's slipping my mind right now.
Oh, Adam Lambert?
Yes. There's a documentary on Netflix about it. I'm curious to watch that.
Really?
Yeah.
Very interesting. All right, Chris, next up here. Oh, for those who are wondering, I've been watching Succession, which I think is excellent, and I highly recommend. Chris, hey, Buck, I'm not that great with words, but I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all you do and stand for. You're the silent majority's voice. I'm a pretty good judge of character, and you, sir, are the real deal. I wish you protection and love. Shields high, my brother. Well, Chris, that's the nicest thing anyone's written to me all day, probably all week, maybe all month. So it's really appreciated, man. Thank you so much for that. And if... yeah, all I got to say is thank you. That's really very nice of you. It does mean a lot, especially because you should see some of the other messages I get sent to me. Whoa, the libs are crazy. I kind of want some pasta tonight. You know what I mean? Go big or go home. I should just lean into this thing. Good news is I mostly do. Yeah, I do TV sometimes, but that's waist up. So I just throw on a big coat and it's fine. A suit jacket or whatever. Because I feel like as long as we still got locked down, might as well enjoy the cuisine. So, and for those who are saying, oh, Book, you can't eat gluten. Gluten-free pasta tastes the same. Tastes the same. Everyone always talks smack about this. I'm like, it's the same thing, folks. You just need to make a little modification. Gluten-free is delicious. Al, Buck, my favorite Fauci impression was regarding you comparing something stuck in your teeth is small like a virus, except the virus is smaller. LOL, I did. Well, Al, I'm glad you appreciate it. It was for your own health and wellness. You got to take a toothpick sometimes. Don't stab yourself, because you could then open the membrane around the mouth, and then bacteria and virus could, because you don't have proper mitigation, could find its way into the mouth, and then you got an infection there, and that's bad, because then we have to use antibiotics. Antibiotic side effects. Wear a mask. The end. So, yeah, I'm glad you appreciated Dr. Fauci. So I kind of miss having Bernie Sanders to do impressions of. He's been out of the mix for a while now. And on Succession, there's a character based on Bernie Sanders, and the character is a character also, the actor is the same actor from Billions, who plays the head of what's effectively like Morgan Stanley or J.P. Morgan or whatever. I forget the guy's name, but...
What do you think?
Spartan Knives. He's the head of Spartan Knives. That's what it's called. What's up?
What do you think Bernie's doing for the 4th of July weekend?
I think he's going to be having a cookout, but using the bare minimum of contained gas because of climate change. And I think he's going to be grilling a tofurkey burger. Delicious. I'm telling you, delicious. And we're going to make sure we break it up into a lot of little pieces and redistribute the tofu.
I think that's what he's going to do.
That sounds like the worst July 4th ever.
Yeah, socialist July 4th. There you go. Everybody gets a bite of a burger that's not even a real burger, but everyone, from each according to his burger, to each according to his burger. That's how it's going to go. Something like that. All right, home stretch before you all get to go back to either preparing for or enjoying your Independence Day weekend. Notice I have not called it 4th of July, I think, once on this. I've said Independence Day because that is what it is. And I do agree with those who say that we should call it the right thing. So that's why I'm with it. Pablo, next up here. Hey, Buck, I was listening to your podcast on Spotify. I heard you ask the question, why is the left so disturbed by the St. Louis couple protecting their home with guns. I have a theory. Mr. McCloskey was brandishing what appears to be an AR-15 or similar weapon, with the left demanding defund the police. Now there's a reason that has been enacted, and they can understand that explains someone needs an AR-15. They have been after these weapons for years, and this could be a problem for their reasoning. Basically, if local government isn't going to provide for policing these weapons, these weapons become more useful and necessary. Shields high. Yeah, I mean, I answered, Pablo, first of all, I think you probably remember, I did answer the question. I posed it rhetorically and then answered why they're so upset about the AR-15, but that's fine. I think you're posing your own answer to the question, which is great. Yeah, now there is a very clear use case for why you would want an AR-15 and not just like a double-barrel shotgun. If someone has a double-barrel 12-gauge, yeah, that may be able to hold a mob back from looting, burning your home, and killing you and your whole family, right? It could, if they're really that scared that you're going to, first of all, hit them with both, hit two people with a shot each. But they could rush you and they're going to get you. AR, if you're pretty handy with it, someone tries to, even if you got 10, 15 people all try to rush you at once, a whole bunch of them are going to take casualties in that process. So the use case for an AR-15 does seem to be established, in a sense, by this concept of a mob coming to your home and threatening to kill you. So here we go. Misty writes, Governor Nuisance shut us down again. No restaurants or bars, but we still have wineries. Nuisance and Auntie Pelosi own several. Good thing I have you and producer Mark. What are these people still afraid of? If this virus was as easily spread and deadly as they lied to us about, then we'd all be dead by now. We spent the evening in our favorite Mexican restaurant for the last time in who knows how long, and the communists succeeded in canceling celebrations for our independence and freedom. I'm moving to Mars. Well, I don't want you to move to Mars, Misty, because we need you listening to the show, and I don't think that technically the Wi-Fi will work up there for you to download the podcast every day. Plus, I hear the climate on Mars is a little rough. But I do hear what you're saying here. I'm hoping tonight to go out to dinner for the first time in a very long time for outdoor dining in New York. I can't even remember the last time I went to a. It's going to feel weird, like, excuse me, like, Mr. Server, you bring us food and we pay you? This seems so strange. But that's kind of where we're at. So we'll see how it goes. Next up here, John. Here we go. Buck, I'm a real Shields High, real news fan. I believe the Soup Nazi episode was removed for obvious offensive reasons. At least that's the argument made. Do not ever do a Texas yeehaw ever. We don't do that. John, I think you're right on that. I think we established that. So thank you for reminding me in case I didn't know. And as for the Soup Nazi episode, producer Mark, what do you got for me on that?
I don't believe it's ever been taken off streaming services or anything like that. Now that I'm thinking, I mean, there's a couple episodes that you could make, like Soup Nazi, The Cigar Store Indian. There's a couple of episodes. The only episode of Seinfeld that did get pulled from syndication but is now on Hulu is the Puerto Rican Day Parade. That aired once, and then they refused to air it in syndication. There was backlash over it. But now it's back on Hulu.
Really?
Yes.
What was the problem with the Puerto Rican Day Parade episode?
They just made fun of Puerto Ricans and the whole parade and the traffic.
Oh, yeah, I never saw that one. Okay.
I feel like Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld are the two comics that are pretty much, they're allowed to do whatever they want. Curb Your Enthusiasm, there are many episodes that I could see somebody having a problem with. I don't agree with it, but I could see it. But nobody's ever going to go after Larry David.
Oh, producer Nick says the Puerto Rican flag gets burned in that episode.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
There we go.
Okay,
yeah.
I kind of get that one.
We got some messages coming up on Instagram. Stuart writes, Buck, need help defending against this post to an extremely liberal friend who brought it to me. Any ideas? Here's what Democrats, Republicans, and Trump are proposing on police reform, and it's a bill on classifying lynching as a hate crime. I don't even understand. It's from Crooked Media. I'm not even clear on what it's saying. I got to look at this a little bit more, Stuart, but thank you for writing in. Let's go to Ryan. Buck, I appreciate all you and Mark do. Keep fighting the good fight. Remember, this is coming on Instagram. You can send us messages there. Buck Sexton is my handle on Instagram. My concern right now is the amount of anti-gun legislation in the House and Senate. This country's really started getting crazy. We need our Second Amendment more than ever. What are your thoughts on Crenshaw McEnany 2024 presidential ticket? You could be their White House press secretary. Kaylee's a friend, so I'm a big fan of hers. Crenshaw, I've never met, but obviously, guy's a Navy SEAL, seems like a good dude. I should have him on the show. We were going to have him on, and I just honestly forgot, so I've never reached out, but we will. Ryan writes, again, thank you for being a voice of reason in these unreasonable times. Ryan, thank you for being smart with your choice of listening. Thank you all, everybody. Please tell people about the Buck Sexton Show. Pass the buck this weekend while you're barbecuing. Have a great Independence Day. Shields high.